K13 versus sprayed fiberglass fire endurance test. This test was conducted to evaluate the fire performance and endurance qualities of two different spray-applied materials used as exposed thermal and acoustical finishes. The test materials were K13, a cellulose material, and spray-applied fiberglass. The test was conducted following the time-temperature exposure of the ASTM E119 standard for fire tests of building construction materials. Both K13 and sprayed fiberglass were installed at 2¼ inches in thickness to gypsum board in a side-by-side test frame and placed in the test chamber. The fire exposure followed the E119 time-temperature curve with an upper limit of over 1500 degrees Fahrenheit. At 10 minutes, the temperature of the fire is 1299 degrees Fahrenheit. K13's internal temperature is 171 degrees. The sprayed fiberglass is 532 degrees. K13 remains in place. The sprayed fiberglass begins to melt and drip. At the 15-minute mark, the temperature of the fire is now over 1400 degrees, while the internal temperature of the K13 is 221 Fahrenheit. The sprayed fiberglass internal temperature is now over 1000 degrees, nearly 5 times that of the K13. And while the K13 remains in place, the fiberglass continues to melt. 2 minutes later, the K13 internal temperature sensor reads 283 degrees, and the K13 remains in place, protecting the substrate. The sprayed fiberglass has completely melted from the substrate, leaving the gypsum board exposed. At 30 minutes, with a fire temperature of 1558 degrees, the test is terminated. The top sensor temperature on the K13 side is 193 degrees, while on the sprayed fiberglass side, the sensor reads 560 degrees. The K13 internal temperature is 499 Fahrenheit, while on the sprayed fiberglass side, the internal temperature is over 1000 degrees higher at 1542 degrees. The test results show that K13 remained in place, protecting the substrate, preventing any damage to the top of the testing chamber for the duration of the 30-minute test. The sprayed fiberglass had completely melted 17 minutes into the test, resulting in obvious heat and fire damage to the top of the testing chamber. In conclusion, the two materials demonstrated significantly different fire endurance performance. While the K13 continued to protect the underlying substrate, significantly limiting temperature rise, the sprayed fiberglass began to melt from the substrate 10 minutes into the test. Ultimately, the substrate on the fiberglass side was subjected to 13 minutes of unprotected heat from the fire, and at the conclusion of the test, the sprayed fiberglass internal sensor was at 1542 Fahrenheit, or 1043 degrees higher than the internal temperature of the K13. The preceding is an illustration of actual test report data. The test report is available upon request.